Hello friends, welcome to my course on how to play chess. This is a complete beginner's guide for people who don't know how to play chess. In terms of my background, I have been playing chess for the past 20 years and by profession, I am an investment banker. Today in my course, I'll teach you all the basic aspects of chess, and by the end of this course, you should be able to learn basic concepts about chess like how does notation work in chess, how do pieces move, what are the value of each pieces, what is check, what is castling, what is a rule called en passant, how does checkmate work in chess, how does stalemate work in chess, some tips and strategy uh, which will be applicable when you play a game of chess, and I'll show you a sample good game of chess just to summarize everything that how basic concepts in chess work. So I split this course into 10 parts. So make sure that you watch all 10 parts, watch till the end. And in case you like my videos, do like and subscribe the channel. So this is the first part of the course, which will focus on notation. So let's first focus on a chessboard and how notation works in the same. So as you can see on my screen, a chessboard has 64 squares, and each of these squares are made through vertical and horizontal lines. So for example, there are 8 vertical lines in a game of chess, like I've just made one, and then there are 8 horizontal lines again in the game of chess. So in chess terminology, we call these vertical lines, as you can see on my screen, as files, and these horizontal lines are called as ranks. And each of these files are denoted by a particular alphabet. So here we have alphabets from A to H. So for example, if I want to name this file, I can call it A file. Similarly, this file will be called B file. And in a similar manner, we have various numbers which denote the various ranks which are there. So there are 8 ranks in chess, with the first rank being denoted by number 1, and so on. We denote the 8th rank by number 8. So as you can see, it's a matrix, and because of this file and rank concept, you can name each square in chess. So for example, if I want to name this particular square, so you'll see that this is on file F and it's on rank 5. So this square will be called F5. So similarly, we can name all the squares which are there on the chessboard. So for example, this square will be called C4 because it's on file C and it's on rank 4. And so as we have named all the squares in the board, now we'll name all the pieces which are there in the board. So first of all, each side has 16 pieces to start with. Out of those 16 pieces, 8 of those are pawns, which are basically your frontline soldiers in a basic terminology. So as I've highlighted, there are 8 pawns for white and 8 pawns for black. We'll see how these pieces move and what are the value of these pieces in subsequent chapters. But here we'll note that these pieces are called pawns, which are the smallest piece possible in the chessboard. Then there are minor pieces. Each of the side has 4 minor pieces. So there are 2 knights. I've highlighted the knights. And then there are 2 bishops. So these 4 pieces comprise the minor pieces which are there on the chessboard. Apart from that, there are heavy pieces which are basically, or rather major pieces, which are basically your rooks. There are 2 rooks. And then this piece is called the queen, which is basically the most important piece in the chess board, of course, after your king, which you have to avoid from getting checkmated, and we'll see how checkmate works in subsequent chapters. And then this is your king. So we'll see how all of these pieces move in subsequent chapter, but here we are going to learn the notation. So for example, this pawn, if I move it to square h3 from square h2, I will call this move as h3, which is basically your the eventual square which the pawn is moving to. Similarly, if I'm moving the pawn to say e4, I'll call this as move e4. Similarly, if I'm moving, say, my knight, then I will use the word n, because k in knight is used by king, and I'll use the eventual square which it is moving to. So in this case, it is moving to f3. So I'll call this move nf3. So when a pawn moves to an eventual square, say e4, we don't call it pe4, we just call it e4. But if a piece is moving to an eventual square, then we use the first letter of that piece. So for example, for king, we use K. For queen, we use Q. For bishop, we use B. For knight, we use N. As explained, we cannot use K because it's already used for king. And for rook, we use R. And the eventual square they are moving to is then used in the notation. And we'll see how each of these pieces move in our next chapter. So this is the end of this chapter, and feel free to like the video in case you like this far.